Hello everyone, welcome to Conversations with Sakina. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Mothman that became very well known due to being a part of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And it is said that this Mothman was the warning to the residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that something bad was going to happen. The first sighting, from my understanding, was on November 16th, 1966, and it was a couple that saw this Mothman. It's described as being humanoid in form, with like claw hands and big red eyes and wings. Now, there were many other sightings after this one. And then when the collapse of the Silver Bridge took place, which is one of the things that has made Point Pleasant, West Virginia, along with the Mothman, a well-known place. The collapse of the Silver Bridge took place December 15th, 1967. So this Mothman appears to have begun showing up nearly a year before the collapse of that bridge. 46 people died on that bridge. So the thought is this Mothman is a being, a cryptid that brings forth or brings a warning to people about something, some kind of disaster that is going to take place. Now, there's a movie called Mothman Prophecies, created from a book written by John Keel. The movie is mesmerizing. That's the word I want to use. It's mesmerizing. Very intriguing, very much keeps your attention, done in kind of a spooky way, but very, very well done. It stars Richard Gere. Anyway, you can look that up online if you wish. If you haven't seen it, it is worth watching. So some of the ideas about the Mothman here is that since there is a military depot 5 miles from Point Pleasant, it is abandoned now. It's not called the military depot anymore. It is McClintock Wildlife Management Area now, but the buildings are still there, and you can actually go into them, or at least you used to be able to. So there are some who believe that the Mothman is an experiment, or was an experiment, and that it still lives within the buildings of the military depot. There's others who believe that the Mothman is interdimensional or even demonic, being able to come and go whenever it chooses. Some believe that it's a falling angel who, if the disaster is large enough and the place is deemed worthy enough, will show itself to warn of some kind of disaster, but not really give any clue, apparently, about what disaster to look for. So what I want to look into today is to find out, first of all, is this Mothman real? What kind of creature is it? Maybe where it lives. We're just going to play it by ear, see what the cards bring forth. So let's get started with that. Any information that I felt was important for you to know, such as the video that I watched to get a little quick detail about the Mothman and Point Pleasant, I'll put that in the description box below. And if I can find a place where you can actually view the Mothman Prophecies, if you haven't seen them already, I'll try and put that in the description box below as well. So we're going to start out with where exactly, or where would we be able to find the Mothman? Where does it live? And is it real? We're upside down. Okay, we have the Chariot. We have the Nine of Blades, the Page of Blades, Queen of Stones, and the Two of Sticks. Okay, so the first thing that I see here is that we have all the elements in these 6 cards. We have water. With the swords, the 9 of Swords, we have air. Again, we have air. With the Queen of Stones, which is Queen of Pentacles, we have earth. And with the Two of Sticks, we have fire, or Two of Wands. What this tells me is this is a spirit-like creature. Now, does this mean that it's an interdimensional creature? I think it's, with the Two of Sticks, they're telling us, someone's telling us, that this is something we have to make up our own minds on. Whether we feel like it's an interdimensional creature or a falling angel, it is a spiritual creature, a spirit type creature. But it still has the ability to become physical. And we know it flies with the 2 air cards. That's pretty much its main way to travel, is flying. And I think also with the Queen of Stones, I think this is sharing that this creature does care about humanity, which is why it comes to warn. At least I'm assuming at this point that's what that means. The Queen is a very nurturing and caring individual. And so we're going to say, we're not going so far as to say that the Mothman is nurturing and caring. We're just going to say that I believe it cares about humanity. So the possibility of it coming for the purpose of warning of disaster is very possible. And as for whether or not the Mothman is real, I think this is saying, the cards are saying, the Mothman could be a movement, but it is also, the energy surrounding it is almost in a way like a, do I want to say children's story? Something maybe brought forth to scare people. But then again, we have the fact that this Mothman did warn by its appearances, it's been connected to have warned the residents of Point Pleasant that something was going to happen. They didn't know when, they didn't know what, but they put 2 and 2 together, and this is what they believe. So again, it is up to you to determine what you yourself believe. Make that decision for yourself. It's not telling us yet yes or no. So let's see what more that it's willing to share with us. We have the Lovers, the Hanged Man, the King of Stones, Knight of Blades, and the Ace of Blades. So I feel like this is saying that this Mothman is mentally connected to humanity somehow. Obviously it has, the need to take care of us, at least from what the cards are sharing here, the need to warn humanity when something imminent is going to come about. The Lovers is a connection card. And then of course we have 2 sword cards, which is connected by the mind, so to speak. But the Lovers is air also, just as the swords are. So this is a mental connection of some sort. And the cards are saying, you can look at it from any perspective that you wish. But I believe the Mothman really is here to take care of humanity or to help humanity. And that it actually goes where it is needed. And an idea is forming in my mind here is that when it says it is connected to humanity, I feel as though the souls of the people who see it also have some kind of subconscious knowledge of the issue that is going to happen, the danger, for instance, the Silver Bridge collapse, that on a subconscious level, they have that knowledge. And that is something that somehow gets floated out on the airwaves to the Mothman and brings him, he flies to wherever this is and starts the warning process. Starts using whatever tools he has, whatever way he can, to warn people that something is going to happen. And as we can see here with the dynamite, the lit dynamite, this is a disaster waiting to happen. So he is flying in to help humanity after he gets the mental hit on where to go. And as we see, we have a map here too. So that is my thought here with these cards. So let's switch decks here for a minute and see if we can determine where this Mothman came from. Now we've determined here he is a spiritual being. Does that mean he lives in spirit and he's interdimensional? Or does he live upon the earth? How did he form? How did he become a part of our reality? We'll see what the cards have to say. Those may not be the right questions, but it's a start. So we have Judgment. We have Mother of Earth. So that's Queen of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Fire, which is the Ace of Wands. We have the Hermit. And we have the Chariot again. So I think the cards are saying here that there are some who believe that this Mothman is a fallen angel. And since we have Queen of Stones here twice, we've already discussed that, for some reason, this Mothman is connected to humanity. And there are some who believe that this Mothman is demonic. But we can say wherever he lives alone. And that he's often on the move. So I would imagine, since he perhaps gets that telepathic hit, wherever he gets that hit, that's where he goes. Now, the Mothman prophecies, the situation with the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that's sharing that, the Mothman has been seen. And I know that there's been other sightings of the Mothman in other places, but I haven't delved into that myself, and I'm not sure how many places the Mothman has been seen or anything like that. But again, they're urging us to decide for ourselves. But the one thing that certainly can be said is this Mothman does care about humanity. So somehow I think that means that, I don't necessarily think that they're a fallen angel. I definitely don't believe that they're demonic. And we know that it is a spiritual being. Whatever that means. So let's take it further. Temperance. Four of Air, or Swords, I believe. Two of Swords. Seven of Wands. And Strength, or excuse me, Justice. This is one of those decks where Strength and Justice are changed around. We have Temperance and Adjustment, or in this case, Justice. Temperance is balance. It's a balance of some kind. And justice is truth, clarity of a situation. So I think the cards are saying it is up to us to realize that, first of all, things aren't always what they seem. You can't always tell a book by its cover, so to speak. And I feel as though this is a waiting game. This Mothman is brought here, or comes to bring balance and clarity. And it really is a waiting game. You know, things aren't necessarily what they seem. So when the warnings come, people really aren't understanding. The people in Point Pleasant certainly did not know that the bridge was going to collapse. And they really did not know that the Mothman was warning them. At least I don't believe so. Though if the movie has any validity to it, one particular person was getting warnings of certain kinds, verbal warnings. And those were not necessarily pointed toward the bridge, but knowing that something was going to happen. And again, we have, the Two of Swords, which is balanced thinking. So I think what I would like to know now, if at all possible, would be, again, where does the Mothman come from? Was it a military experiment? Maybe that's the question to ask. Was it a military experiment? We have the Mother of Fire, or Queen of Wands. We have the Eight of Wands. We have the High Priestess. We have the Seven of Pentacles. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. I think I got a few of those wrong. Just a second. Okay. Try that again. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got the Eight of Cups. We've got the High Priestess, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Sorry about that. It's the little element symbols that get me sometimes. All right, so experiment or not. I'm going to say from these cards, I feel as though this was definitely some kind of someone's creation. The Mothman was someone's creation. And I believe that this creation escaped. The conditions were just far beyond anything that it could stand. And it was able to, well, again, it's telepathic. It gets messages from human subconscious about disasters coming up. That is what the cards are sharing here. So it has power. And the start of its life, why it wants to help humans, I have no idea. Because life was anything but good for the Mothman, for this creature. And when we say someone created, now that's not to say that this someone is necessarily human. We don't know. It just says Mother of Fire. So we're going to say that possibly it is not human. Maybe someone human took this Mothman in and nurtured it back to health, which is maybe why it is more than happy to try to assist, try to save some lives. But again, this is all speculation. This is what I'm seeing in the cards. So one more time here, we're going to use these. What is the actual energy surrounding this Mothman? Is the Mothman here for the good of humanity? We have the Ten of Blades, or Ten of Swords. We have Strength. Six of Wands, Queen of Cups, and 10 of Sticks, or 10 of Wands. So I feel like here we're saying with the 10 of Swords is that it is time to, well, stop. This is the finish line, apparently, on these cards. It's telling us, suffice it to say, that this Mothman is strong. It is a creature of some sort, created obviously by someone. And it has a lot of endurance. It's been around for a long time. And people are always going to take the worst case scenario, such as the demon, which we determined here that is not the case. And, interdimensional or fallen angel. Anyway, people are always going to look at things from the standpoint of, because it's different, because it's a creature, it's bad. It must be bad. However, the cards are saying, use your intuition on this, because your intuition is strong. You know whether or not this being, whether the Mothman is good or evil. You are capable of telling this. Your intuition is incredible. All humans have intuition. And with the 10 of Wands, this is just a card telling us to tell stories about it around the campfire. If that's what you choose to do, make up your stories for yourself. Be creative. The Mothman doesn't mind. It knows what it is. It does not need our okay to live. It doesn't need our permission to exist. So with the 10 on both ends, this is saying, this is it. We're done. We're done with the questioning. We're done with the giving of answers. This is what we've given you. Do with it what you will. Make your own decision about what you think. So that's what we have about the Mothman at this point. If you have anything to share, please put your comments in. I'd love to hear your take on what you see in the cards here. Everyone reads cards differently. This is what I'm getting, and we will visit the Mothman again at some point. I feel as though forming a few more questions or better defined questions might actually give us a little bit more information. So if you have anything you want to know, again, put it in the comments below, and I will keep that in mind as I consider when the next time we will revisit the Mothman. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care.